Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Todd Letts, and I'm CEO of the Brampton Board of Trade. Welcome to the Brampton Board of Trade's Expert Interview Series. Today's guest is Shaun Rath. He is the Business Center Brampton Area Manager for the Business Development Bank of Canada. You know, ladies and gentlemen, as we kick off Small Business Week, BDC Small Business Week, there are a lot of things on the minds of Brampton business people, from a growing labor shortage and the rise of remote work, return of employees, return of customers. There's the expansion of digital business, a real digital transformation going on. And we're seeing increasingly frequent climate events impacting delays in our supply chain as well. There is no shortage, a myriad of both challenges and perhaps some opportunities ahead for Canadian entrepreneurs. And that is what we will be speaking to Shaun Rath about today. What will your company need to focus on to grow among these trends and changes? And how do we make our companies more innovative, more inclusive, and more sustainable? Well, this is BDC Small Business Week. And, a lot of people may not know that BDC started this in Canada back in 1979. It is now the 42nd Small Business Week in Canada. And the theme this year is seizing the opportunity to build the way forward. I love the positivity there, Shaun. We're going to get right into Shaun's sharing of some of these trends and some of the solutions that Canadian entrepreneurs are bringing to the table for some of these big issues and helping their companies thrive as well. He's an experienced commercial lending professional, exceptionally motivated leader with over 20 years business development and commercial banking advisory service experience. He's worked at BDC for the last 21 years, where he's held leadership roles in small business, mid-market lending, and strategy. He's relatively new in this Brampton Business Center area manager role. That includes not only Brampton, but Bolton, Caledon, Orangeville. Very passionate guy, passionate about how Canadian entrepreneurs can adopt new technologies to optimize the client experience. He's a BBA out of Wilfrid Laurier University. Shaun, thank you so much for joining us, and happy Small Business Week.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate the opportunity to speak here on the expert panel, and also on the Monday of Small Business Week. So I'm super excited to share with you a couple of the important trends that are shaping the growth opportunities in Canada, not only for businesses in Brampton, but across the country as well. So,
well, that's fantastic. I am looking forward to your insights. Why don't we start off from the top, though? BDC, we see the logo. It's been there for many years. Many of our members are clients of the Business Development Bank. But tell us a little bit more about BDC, what it does, why I, as an entrepreneur, would want to call you. Some of the what makes you different, perhaps, from the other banks.
Sure. Thanks, Todd. So to start off, I mean, who we are. I mean, we're really a different type of bank, a different kind of bank. We are really the only financial institution that are devoted to Canadian entrepreneurs. And just to throw up some figures here, we've got 72,000 clients, almost $37 billion committed to small and medium-sized businesses, and we have 2,500 employees across Canada. So the way I put it is, like, we help create and develop strong Canadian businesses through our financing, advisory services, which is very, very important, and capital, again, focusing on the small, medium-sized businesses. We support entrepreneurs in all industries, all stages of development from our business centers. And I'm very happy to be, here in Brampton to lead the team, and also to grow the team and to grow Brampton businesses. Important thing though to note is that we do complement the role played by private sector financial institutions, but we've been serving Canadian entrepreneurs since 1944. And it's important to note as well is that we're a financially sustainable Crown Corp, and we operate at arm's length from our sole shareholder, who is the Government of Canada.
Very good, Shaun. That's great. And I'm an ex-alum of BDC, and I know firsthand the great work that the bank does, not only in being creative in its financing, working collaboratively with the big five banks, but you also mentioned the advisory services, providing that guidance that helps companies, particularly ones that are fast growing. That advice can be so valuable. So thank you for that outline of what BDC is and how it can help entrepreneurs. Shaun, Small Business Week, BDC Small Business Week, and this year's theme, Seize the Opportunity to Build the Way Forward. Tell us a little bit more about that theme and the trends that you're going to share with us today.
Sure, we can get into, the five trends that are shaping these growth opportunities in Canada. I mean, the past 18 months, we have to, fast forward. Long-term disruption comes up. Canadian entrepreneurs have faced unprecedented challenges. And again, for this Small Business Week this year, we're exploring any opportunities and challenges under the theme of seizing the opportunity to build the way forward. So we've got a couple of trends that I definitely like to share with you today as we celebrate Small Business Week here in Canada. So I'll begin by discussing Canada's road to recovery, the impacts of the coronavirus pandemic. Then I'll get into outline five major trends, as well as some ways that you'll be able to prepare for, and take advantage of these trends in the future to better position your business. So let's get going. You can see in the graph below, there we go. Then in the graph that it comes to no surprise, but the pandemic had a very significant effect on the Canadian economy and job market. Won't spend too much time on this, but you can sort of see the first, second, third wave. And this was completed with data from the end of August. So we were just sort of beginning the fourth wave at the time. But with Canada, we're on a strong road to recovery, but it doesn't mean that things will go back to the way they were before, if you will. The effects of the pandemic will linger, will shape the way Canadians conduct business, and perhaps forever as well. To succeed in this new business environment, you'll need to adapt and prepare for what's coming next, and be okay with change and evolving change as well. So first of all, we'll talk about the labor shortage. This is on top of a lot of people's mind right now. It's basically the persistence of labor shortages across the Canadian economy. 55% of Canadian small, medium-sized businesses told us that it's finding very, very hard to hire employees. I mean, I don't need to tell everyone that, but also more than a quarter are struggling to retain workers as well. So this leaves them with not much more choice than to work longer hours themselves, delay or refuse orders as well. So that's a tough spot to be in. And you know what? It could get even worse as the economy recovers to pre-pandemic levels too. This graph basically shows us that we anticipate that labor shortage is here to stay. It's disrupted and the business environment, and our economists and our data shows us that labor participation, as it says, is expected to decline until 2036. So it's a long-term effect. There's no question about it. But let's look at three strategies, or proven strategies, if you will, to address this labor shortage. There's three of them. First one is, of course, investing in technology and automation. When it comes to recruitment, investing in technology and automation is actually the single most important effective step you can take in your business. For many SMEs, though, the upfront cost has been cited as one of the biggest challenges to integrate technology and automation into their business. But recently, with the development of cloud-based platforms and other softwares, more and more of these tools are being accessible to the very small companies as well. But automation, as the slide says, automation is not just robots. It's eliminating those repetitive tasks. It's improving, of course, employee worker productivity. satisfaction, but also reducing errors. And I want to point to one of our clients. There's a case study here. When you look at one of our clients, they're out of North Vancouver. It's basically a pharmacy, and it was hit hard by the pandemic. They lost 80% of their pre-pandemic employees during the COVID crisis. So even after they tried to increase their salaries, they tried to increase their benefits, but still it was very difficult to find workers. And these two individuals found themselves completely overwhelmed. So the two of them decided to invest in an automated medication packaging machine, automatically fills the orders, packages prescriptions for their clients, and also it makes fewer errors than a human doing the task manually. So basically they've saved over 80% in processing time, and again 90% fewer errors. So that's just a real life example of how technology and automation has worked for
That's a really
this
good
business.
example, Shaun. I know that a lot of our members, the Brampton Board of Trade, are looking at automation tools. So you mentioned a very good one for a routine task here for the pharmacy industry. Artificial intelligence and automation is all around us. If you're using Microsoft Office products now, you get reminders from Viva and Cortana of they scan your email. If you said I will do something, they remind you that you said you will do something, and if it's not already complete, then it can make it back on your immediate to-do list. Locally, a lot of businesses are looking at including chatbots on their websites as well, and we just had a session on automation from an expert in that from Deloitte, and a company here in the GTA, ADA, is one that is really doing well by helping companies integrate chat bots for their customer service, for the customer experience. And I think your point is, automation is not just the way of the future, but it does help when you find yourself in a labor shortage, and it helps you attract employees as well, because it adds to the workplace to know that you've got the latest technologies that can perhaps reduce the errors, reduce the mundane tasks, and better leverage the advanced skills, the human relationships, the customer relationship skills of your staff. So very, very good points on automation, Shaun. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, definitely, Todd, definitely. And moving along, when we talk about another way that things should change and that companies can use is a more formal hiring process. When we did our research, 77% of entrepreneurs polled by BDC reported having no formal hiring process. So having a formal hiring process, like identifying your organization's needs, post the job, advertise to the right pool, pre-screen candidates, but also be proactive and always have like a pipeline of good candidates as well. Another important part is offering the total compensation package. You can move to the next slide. When we talk about a total compensation package, it's not just about having salary anymore. It's competitive salary, benefits, but also flex work as well, mentoring, coaching, and all those other key components as a total compensation package versus just the pay. We can move to the next slide, and we can get to the second point, which we touched upon, Todd, just a few minutes ago, is the continued rise of e-commerce and automation, if you will. Looking at this slide in particular, the graph, you can sort of see that e-commerce has more than doubled since the beginning of the pandemic. And you know what? If you don't have a viable website or a website that really doesn't talk to the consumer or the end user, if you're not online, your business is invisible as far as we're concerned.
Yeah.
You can move down a couple slides. the key point here is to create that high performing website. I mean, I was on the Brampton Board of Trade website, fantastic. You go on BDC's website, there's a ton of information and tools and resources available. So there's a value add, but you need to have that, you need to create that high performing website that will attract new clients as well as satisfy existing clients. I mean, with the new clients, it's about, you know, using social media, online ads, email newsletters to keep in touch. You know, it's very, very important to create that high performing website. You can keep scrolling down. So that was point two, is in terms of, you know, the making sure that you utilizing online, and also by utilizing online, you're reaching all parts of the globe as well too. So it's really kind of an international
The
spin to it.
pandemic was really uneven in its impact. We saw so many brick and mortar businesses forced to close, 4 or 5 months, and then reduced hours and reduced and enhanced operating restrictions year. But it was those companies that were already e-enabled that were able to actually see double digit growth in sales. And so your point there about having, if you having a website that is interactive, that does promote engagement, that does capture the needs of individuals in a seamless, in just a couple click kind of way for your customer, that certainly is the way of the future. So two really good insights there, Shaun. What's the third one you have here?
The third one there is that's coming up is remote work will remain popular. So, you know, before the pandemic, people are used to going in the office, seeing their colleagues, et cetera. And that's not necessarily going away, but it's definitely changed. 74% of businesses will rely on some sort of remote work arrangements after the crisis. So, you know, whether or not to telework will continue to become more important. It'll depend upon the business sector, though. You know, a high proportion of the IT, telecommunication entrepreneurs, as well as those though that are in the professional, scientific, and technical services as well. It's important to realize that. But again, offering the possibility to telework will be a critical factor in recruiting. So going back a couple slides when I mentioned the total compensation for, you know, newer employees or existing employees, this is going to be a key one as well. As you know, 54%. So all of, you know, half of all Canadians will pay attention to figuring out whether there's a possibility of teleworking prior to accepting a new role.
And this goes hand in hand with your earlier comment about the investment in technology being so important. If your new recruits or your existing staff are to work at home, they have to have accessibility to the data that's at the office. And that might mean upgrading your QuickBooks to on the cloud, for example, or investing in a VPN so that you have the access that you need to the files that you need, even though if you're working from home. That all adds to the environment of productivity and satisfaction for both new hires and your existing team.
For sure, definitely. And you know, you touched upon providing the right tools. So as an employer, you need to provide the right tools to employees to make sure that they can succeed at this telework. So, you know, take advantage of some of the free or low cost tools that are out there. You don't need to spend a fortune on these. For example, like there's Google Hangouts, Skype, Zoom, which we're on right now, Slack, Microsoft Teams, you know, all these different types of software tools that are free or actually minimal cost. But it's important that you do provide the right tools to make sure that teleworking is valid. Um, it's important too, though, that sometimes you do get disconnected when you're in this virtual environment, used to being in the office with a team, et cetera. So you do need to ramp up that communication and those touch points, to make sure that, you know, the employees feel part of the team. If we could scroll down a few slides, we can sort of see that, you know, basically the communication, you need to increase the frequency of team meetings, be open, straightforward, make use of that technology through, again, Teams, Zoom, etc. weekly one-on-ones with your employees, just that quick touch point. How are you doing? That's that face-to-face interaction if you can't make it into the office. But also as managers and as leaders too, we need to adapt management style too, increase that employees' autonomy, shift your expectations. Keyword, two words if you scroll down in terms of the slides here, is be flexible. 77% of managers felt it was harder for them to manage their remote team. So there's got to be a big trust factor, but you also need to be flexible as a leader as well. So I mean, those are very, very important when it comes to telework, and it's one of those things that are almost going to be expected from employers going forward, is making sure that they do have a strategy with telework. All right. Now, the fourth one, and Todd, you did do a great job in almost prefacing this at the beginning, is the climate emergency is not going away, and a lot of companies are adapting to that, especially here in Canada. Our studies have found that most Canadian entrepreneurs are committed to reducing the environmental impact of their activities, and have already begun steps to do so. And it's not time to be complacent about it. I'll use an example here. Is one of our clients is a founder of an it's called the Unscented Company. It's a Montreal maker of fragrance-free, eco-friendly laundry detergents, body lotions, and shampoos. And her growing business is B Corp certified, so Beneficial Corp certified, and they're leading in the certification in terms of making sure that they make profits, but they're generating social and environmental benefits as well. So it's important to consider all this when looking at being a social responsibility, being eco-friendly, etc. But of course, this is in transition, and be steady, put steady progress towards your goals. There's a lot of different ways to take your commitment a step further. It's not all one big leap all at once. It's sort of incremental, if you may. I mean, one way is to just be eco-design in your products and services, and involves analyzing the complete life cycle, right? From raw materials to end of life, at a view of reducing environmental impact at every stage.
Sean, it's been a really challenging time, stressful, anxiety provoking for a lot of entrepreneurs. And I'm often asked, when are we going to get back to normal? And my response is, unfortunately, we're not going back to that normal. The new normal does include a change in customer behavior as well. They're looking to support companies that don't just know and acknowledge environmental, social, governance, ESG goals, but actually internalize them. And they'll spend more money. They'll search out and find out how you're bringing sustainability to your operations, your services, and your products. So I guess that's one thing I wanted to underline, is 2022, which is just a little over 60 days away, is not is a mile away from 2019, and internalizing some of these environmental sustainability objectives is what the customers of the future are going to expect. A real difference between back to normal and the new normal.
Yeah, very true. And this leads us to our last point, which is, get used to that uncertainty, get used to change. It's going to evolve. It's going to happen. You need to embrace it personally, but also professionally as well, because, everything is not back to normal, as you were just mentioning. Supply chains, you hear about these supply chains that are still recovering from the COVID shock, and it's going to take some time, and it's going to happen. Who knows? There could still be lockdowns as well. We don't know. And the service industry is not back 100%, right?
Yeah, it is a very challenging time mentally for entrepreneurs. I mean, by nature, they're risk takers, have a higher tolerance for risk. But the world, to your point, has been uncertain, complex, ambiguous, volatile, and it's hard for them to rely and keep their confidence of their rules of thumb of operating a business that were relevant and valid in the past. May not be. I mean, the supply chain forecast, the imbalance that we're seeing there, it may take a good 22 to 24 months longer to correct itself. And it's tied to, COVID disruptions in different parts of the world, environmental disruptions, floods that have closed ports in different parts of the world. And that has a ripple impact right in the offices, the shops, and the plant floors of your clients and my clients. And we have to make sure that we cut ourselves some slack, that we may not have all the right answers, and it is frustrating when we're not able to get the raw materials and serve our customers or the products that we want to serve our customers. And yeah, our customers might show a little bit more frustration than they normally do, but know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and certainly having a partner like BDC that understands these trends, these challenges and opportunities is something of value to Brampton entrepreneurs. What else do you have there to wrap up, Shaun?
There's a couple slides that are actually pretty informative, especially for the entrepreneurs that are listening to this. Is that when we talk about everything not being back to normal, it's important to a simple chart, assess your risks, and develop contingencies as well. We do suggest that you make a list of the key resources you need, then determine the risks that could endanger your production or delivery of services. For example, are you dependent on a supplier? Has it closed, or is it in danger of closing? Do certain employees have skills that are essential to the delivery of your products or services? Do you have that piece of equipment that is required to service your customers? Things like this. So a very simple chart that you can definitely use for your suppliers, employees, and equipment and technology, and identify your risks and your contingencies as well. Moving along to the next slide, it's important to manage your cash flow effectively too. It's a very, very important point in keeping a tight handle on your cash flow. Keep a close eye on, what money is coming in and out of your business to make sure you have enough cash on hand to pay your accounts payable. Keep the lights on, for lack of a better word. But I mean, in the time of uncertainty like this one, it can be especially useful if you save up a little bit of cash to create a cushion that could save the business or help you if you come across challenging times. And then finally, track your performance. Like, look at your productivity, look at your financial health. And this is where BDC's advisory services could potentially help you either manage your business, increase revenues, or actually reduce costs. We can do all that on our advisory services. So that, Todd, that pretty much wraps things up. There's a summary page of the 5 trends that will shape growth opportunities within Canada. Again, to recap: labor shortage, the e-commerce, the focus on the telework, climate crisis, but also the continued uncertainty. And I know that this, you can feel free to post this presentation on the website, so it can be available to all entrepreneurs in Brampton.
Well, thank you for that, Shaun. This is very valuable, and I really do like those last 3 slides that you put up there, particularly the one on the key elements of cash flow. Cash is king, always for a fast-growing business, but particularly in a time of uncertainty. And maybe that will lead me to my next question. And you advisory services, and a lot of entrepreneurs may not be as confident as they want to be on cash flow forecasting and other elements of running a business. Is that something? And maybe you could just outline how Brampton entrepreneurs, Brampton companies can benefit the most from BDC.
Sure. I mean, specifically, so again, BDC Brampton and BDC in general, all we do is term loans and we provide advisory services. But I really think the value here is advisory services in terms of helping the entrepreneur manage your business. And that could be, through strat plan, advanced financial management, leading change, things like that. Increase revenues under that could be sales and marketing help, and we can do that, but also international growth too. That's another part that we do offer. And then of course then you have reducing costs or controlling costs, so operational efficiency, or certification like HACCP for the food industry, or ISO, and also technology consulting as well. So help with the website, but also system selection and things like that. happy to help any sort of Brampton entrepreneur get them in touch with the right people at our office to have a further conversation on those advisory services.
Well, that's great, Shaun, and that is a wide variety of very tangible advisory services, and it's lovely how that can go hand in hand with a term loan, or entrepreneurs, I understand, can purchase it separately as well, and you have a really skilled network of entrepreneurs, former entrepreneurs that have lived through the peaks and valleys of cash flow and technology, and can help Brampton companies out. Well, that's wonderful, Shaun. Is there any parting words that you'd like to leave with us on this very special Small Business Week, seizing the opportunity to build the way forward? Love that theme. Any final comments, Shaun?
Just, I'm happy to be in Brampton. The growth is in Brampton, and I'm looking forward to helping grow the businesses in Brampton.
Oh, thank you. And I know that you're genuine in that. We've met a couple of times now. We're happy that you're here. I think that your clients and the members of the Brampton Board of Trade are very similar in their desire to grow, the seriousness of their business development. And they're also smart too. They understand that success does not happen on its own. It takes a network of suppliers, customers, advisors, friends to move us all forward as quickly as we can. And I look forward to working with you and your team as the weeks and months and years ahead unfold. It's so great to have you here on Monday, the first day of Small Business Week, because we're also launching a program called Ready in Brampton. The Ready Brampton program, readybrampton.com, is a program that we have launched. When I say we, businesses here in Brampton have developed, designed, and have launched for this week to welcome their customers back. We know that there is a lot of pent-up demand there. People are ready to shop, ready to dine, they're ready to get back to work, and we're ready here in Brampton to accommodate that. And so I encourage people, if you're out this week, to take a moment when you're with the server, take a moment when you're at the cash out, and just look beyond. Take a look at those photographs of the swim team that they're sponsoring, or the hockey team, the volunteering that they do for festivals, and say thank you to a small business owner. And then I've got one more thing I'd like you to do, is take a photograph. Take a photograph of a product, a service, the smiling face that you see there. Take a selfie of yourself and post it on Instagram, and we'll make sure that our small businesses here in Brampton feel the love. And go check out readybrampton.com if you're a business person. We've got some great social media tiles that you can use. You can take some photographs of your store, your services, your staff, etc. Post it on there. We really want this to be a celebration of, as Shaun has said, seizing the opportunity and let people know that we're ready in Brampton. That website again is readybrampton.com. So not only that, but we do have a very special couple of events happening on Thursday of this week. The View from the Top in the morning, we'll be welcoming Dr. Mohammed Lashmi. He's the Vice Chancellor and President of Ryerson University, and we'll be talking to him about a new project for Brampton, a medical school. We'll be talking about health innovation and the importance of innovation in that sphere, how Brampton, as you say, is the city of the future, and we're bringing in new post-secondary, new training opportunities, new businesses. It's a very, very exciting time. That's early in the morning on Thursday the 21st. And then midday lunch, we have our open door discussions, and that's where you can bring an opportunity that you've been thinking about, or maybe something's keeping you up at night, a challenge. Bring it to your peers, bring it to the staff here at the Brampton Board of Trade. We usually have directors on our board that attend as well. When you share it, what we try to do is pair you up, match you with the people, the programs, the processes, that the suppliers, the customers that can help you move forward on that opportunity or overcome that challenge. So that's noon, open door discussions, ODD. Staff call it Odd with Todd. You call it whatever you want. It's a fun little hour where we can get a lot done and make everybody feel good about being a business here in Brampton. Next week, we welcome Steve Clark. He's the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. He'll be joined by the Honorable Praveen Sakari, our MPP for Brampton South, and Amarjol Sandhu, MPP for Brampton West. That's the 27th, and the focus there will be on issues surrounding affordable housing, municipal accountability. Should be a really good conversation. Lastly, November, right around the corner. And November 9th, Masha Ali from Culture Up, an HR expert, and Gurmeet Manga from DDB Consultants, a productivity expert, will be talking to us about digital transformation and how they can guide your business to digital success. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention here today. Shaun, excellent insights. We will post these very relevant tips and trends, and this recording will be on our website as well at bramptonbot.com. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of week, sir. I hope everyone that's listening today has a wonderful rest of Small Business Week, and we look forward to seeing you at another Board of Trade event sometime soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye now.